Hey guys, welcome to another video on the YouTube channel Inside Spurs. Good to have you here. Quite a bit's happened today, and probably over the last sort of 12 hours. Incomings, outgoings, there's actually some sort of steam picking up here. So yeah, drop a comment on the video about sort of a player that we might need to get rid of, okay? Drop us a comment about any players that you think we need to bring in. But also drop us a like and obviously subscribe. Hit the bell notification because I'm going to probably start doing a lot more of these, okay? I'm actually going to start with a departure. So I don't know, obviously, I mean, I've talked about it a few times, but I don't know if you've seen Steven Bergwijn, Ajax, okay? So if you don't know, Bergwijn came out weeks ago saying, I want to go back to Holland and I want to go back to Ajax. Ajax are trying to play hardball, thinking they have leverage here. And they're saying, we're going to pay you 21.6 million, I think it was. And Spurs, obviously being Spurs, when you've sold about 120 million pounds worth of players, we know you have the money, we want 25 million. So we're not asking for a bucket load more cash, but obviously they've tried to play hardball. There's some conflicting reports, ironically from the same guys, Mike Bergwijn, okay? Now, if you don't know him, he's from De Telegraaf, not The Telegraph, De Telegraaf in Holland, okay? He's like a Alistair Gold, sort of David Ornstein out there, okay? He's big time out there, okay? So the reports okay? Now, I've got one report from Alistair Gold, so this is how you see it conflicts. So Mike Bergwijn said, Ajax and Spurs agree on a transfer fee for Steven Bergwijn for a fee of 30 million euros, okay? Which is about what Spurs want. We paid, I think, 27 million, so it's about what we get basically our money back, okay? Now, Alistair Gold said, reports suggesting a fee has been agreed with Ajax for Bergwijn is slightly premature, but the move expected to go through sooner rather than later, with Spurs holding out for a fee close to 27 million they paid PSV in January 2024, okay? So, first and foremost, I think it's great that we're going to start moving some players off. I think ideally we probably wanted to get rid of a few players before the tour. I mean, obviously the players are all coming back today. There's obviously seeing Brian Hill, Lo Celso. These sort of players are all coming back that we expect to either be sort of sold or loaned out. They're all coming back. It's a shame with Steven Bergwijn. I really like Steve. Okay, I think he's a talent. I think he's a baller. It's just kind of unfortunate he's playing behind a front three that, for the last sort of half of the season, were incredible. Okay. With that being said, it helps the homegrown situation. It helps the Champions League situation, and also, I really think it helps him as a player going back to his home country, playing a bit more regularly before the World Cup, obviously being in the winter. Spurs get some decent money. Spurs take that money towards other players, okay? Does that mean we go for players with a higher market value because we want to make a big marquee signing, obviously aside from Richarlison? I don't know, but it just adds something to the pot a little bit. And yeah, it's a shame with Bergwijn. Obviously, we know this season he was unbelievable when he came off the bench. It was old adage saying death taxes and Bergwijn scoring a last minute equaliser or a winner. Everyone remembers Leicester. That was obviously a mental few minutes, but he also scored a lot of goals post that. Okay, yeah, it'll be a shame to see him go, but I think it's best for everyone. Okay. I think if we're thinking 25, sort of 27 million is what we're going to get out of it, pounds-wise, I mean, that's not a bad thing in the end, really, if you think about it. His market value probably would have dropped a little bit had we kept him this season. He's disgruntled a little bit. It's just best for everyone to move on. But yeah, that I would assume would probably be done by the end of the week, sort of thing. Like as the goal said, sooner rather than later. So yeah, good luck to Stevie. Obviously, I'll probably talk about him between now and when he goes, but yeah, just for good old sake. So coming on to sort of players that we're interested in bringing in, okay. This one, obviously, when we talked about Richarlison, we talked about a certain Everton player who we were also quite keen on, Anthony Gordon, okay. Winger, homegrown, really great young talent, okay. It comes out that through Dan Kirkpatrick from Standard Sport, okay, he says that Spurs remain interested in Everton's Anthony Gordon, although there's little optimism that the Toffees will risk a supporter backlash by selling the homegrown winger, notwithstanding their perilous financial situation, okay? I've got something else to add to this in a second, but it's one player that am really keen on, okay, if I'm honest. I think he's an absolute talent and he's an absolute baller. And what I don't want to happen is we go, oh, we really, really like you. We don't go for him or don't get him, and it happens with Grealish, okay, where we went for Grealish, we didn't, for some reason, stump up an extra few quids. He's gone on to play really well at Villa, £100 million signing to City. When you think of him, you think of James Maddison when he was at Norwich. We missed out there. And James, looking at it now, James Maddison's probably worth about 50 mil, and he's a baller as well as Grealish. So it's another one that I don't really want to miss out on. Now, it also came out a little bit around the Gordon situation. Now, if you don't know, when we let Dele Alli go in January, we didn't get a fee for him. Okay, and a lot of Spurs fans got a bit up in arms. They're annoyed, And then when they decided to settle down, dig a bit deeper, and actually read some articles, they realised there was money involved, just not up front. So obviously, Everton will owe Spurs, 10 million as part of the deal to Ali to go to Everton once he makes 20 appearances, okay? What this report says is that Spurs would waive that, okay? So Spurs would offer 20 million for Gordon, roughly. Obviously, it might be more, might be less, and they'd write off the 10 million. So basically, a deal of about £30 million, okay? Now, when we talk about homegrown, we talk about the Champions League situation, that will tick all those boxes, okay? On top of that, Premier League experience. He's played a lot of football last year. He was probably their only shining light last year, okay? Richarlison missed quite a bit of the season. DCL obviously didn't play a lot. He was their shining light, probably alongside Damari Gray, okay? It would help their situation a lot in terms of, balancing the books, looking better to financial fair play. And it helps us massively. I don't really see a downside to that, to be honest. If he was the one to replace Steven Bergwijn, I wouldn't mind that whatsoever. I'm of the mindset that we need 3 attacking players behind the 3 that started last year, and obviously can interchange with different styles of play, but also levels of quality that aren't too much of a drop off. Okay, he's young, he's talented, he knows the league. I think Conte would be massive for him. I mean, he improved so much under managers that weren't the best compared to Conte, for example. It's not to say Lampard won't be a great manager or Benitez has coaching ability to make you better, but Conte is another step up. He would improve you a lot. So I really like that. Okay, if it happens, I don't think it will. I can't see how Everton can sort of realistically sit there and say, yeah, we're gonna sell our best youngster when we've just sold our best player to the same club. I think there'd be an absolute backlash and an uproar. So I don't see it happening. But if it did, I would be really, really happy with that. Staying with the same source down at Standard Sport. Now, this one was a bit like, I don't really know why this was reported. And it's quite obvious. Villarreal's Pau Torres, Inter Milan's Alessandro Bastoni, and Red Bull Leipzig's Josko Gvardiol are among some other left-sided centre-back targets for Tottenham Hotspur this summer. Knew that about 6 to 8 weeks ago. That's really not any added news, if I'm honest. There's nothing there of any substance. Everyone knows about the Bastoni situation. We asked again, we asked probably a few times, and they said, no, we want to sell Skriniar. Gvardiol just signed a new contract, or he's about to. He's got a release clause. It's actually going to be less than what we probably would have paid this summer. The big teams are all going to go in from next summer. He's not going this summer. Pau Torres is of the 3 the most likely to leave. I said that myself weeks ago. Pau Torres, I think, is great. He's a huge upgrade on our team as well. I think people look at it and go, oh, he's not Bastoni, he's not Gvardiol, oh, he's not sexy signing. Don't think of it like that. Think of it as, does he improve our back 3? If you turn just centre-halves, don't forget the wing-backs. Does he improve the back 3? Yes. Is he better than Lenglet? Yes. Is he left-footed? Yes. So you see all these things starting to add up. He's a massive upgrade to the team, okay? We want 2 centre-halves. Alistair Gold has said, we want 2 centre-halves. It could genuinely be Pau Torres and Lenglet. We don't want a massive drop-off in defenders if someone gets injured, So I really like that, personally. It came out then as well, on top of that, from 90-minute football. Tottenham Hotspur could still make a move for Villarreal left-sided centre-half. Pau Torres this summer, despite being on the verge of signing FC Barcelona left-side centre-back Clement Lenglet. I'm going to come to Lenglet in a second. But yeah, like I said, we've always wanted 2 centre-halves. I've always said that Lenglet was probably going to be one of them because he's a cheaper option on loan, that if it worked, great. If it didn't, fine. You don't really lose much there, you know. I think the buy option next summer is around 6 to 7 million. So if he sets the world alight, we've got a centre-half for 6 to 7 million. He's a French international. Laporte couldn't get into the French team, you know. We're talking about French team, you know, with Samuel Umtiti that was a few years ago. You think of Rafa Varane, Jules Koundé. You think of all these really good centre-halves. And by the way, I've only just named 3. There's so many more. I'm not going to sit here and talk about all of these French centre-halves they were. But Lenglet was playing for them. Laporte wasn't. And we all think of Laporte as a really top-quality centre-half. Lenglet was playing. So he has a lot of ability. I think people look at last season and go, he's rubbish. Rubbish. No, Barca had some real quality youth come through last season that played really well for him. Some of them were team of the season prospects, you know. Lenglet was probably quite an expensive option. They're probably wanting to move him on to develop their centre-halves even further. So for me, no, I think Lenglet's still got very good value in terms of we're going to be getting him quite cheap as well. We're not paying all his wages. We're probably paying 60% of his wages, maybe 65, somewhere in there. And then you add in a Pau Torres on top. Think of the back 3. Have they improved with probably Rodon and or Tanganga going on loan? Yes. Categorically, yes. And let's say Lenglet doesn't work out. He goes back to Barcelona next summer and Joe Rodon comes back, hopefully, if he goes out on loan. You see what I mean? Lenglet will not be a very expensive option, okay? We'll probably, if you think of Rodon going out on loan, we'll get a fee for the loan deal. I'd assume Rodon's wages aren't too high for a Premier League club to cover them all. We're not paying for all of Lenglet. It's probably going to cost us actually a few million just to send Rodon. That's, if you think of it like that, we're sending Rodon out on loan with Lenglet. Difference between the two, we're probably paying a few million for Lenglet to go on, for Rodon to go out on loan. It's great development, you know. And if Rodon smashes it, he comes back to Spurs and we go, hang on, he's a guy that can start for us with quality. Or we go, he is very good. We've got some really good offers. Let's sell him. Let's cash in. It's not all about the here and now. Think about also where that development goes, where that story goes. Okay, so that's Pau Torres and Lenglet. I'm going to stick with Barcelona. This came out as well from Sport, and it says Spurs have inquired over the availability of Memphis Depay during negotiations for Lenglet. You know, this one I wasn't too keen on. We've seen Depay in the Premier League. It wasn't great. He went to Man United. He did not tear it up at all. He went to the French League. Yes, he did very well in the French League. But everyone views the French League as probably the 5th best league in the world. There's one really good team in the French League who aren't that great in Europe normally. They're obviously that one season, but in reality, they're not very good in the Champions League. You then think about how he did at Barcelona last year in 28 La Liga appearances, 12 goals, 2 assists. La Liga's not known for solid defending, and he didn't also start a lot of the games. He hasn't sort of done it at Barcelona. So you think of Man United and Barcelona, he hasn't really sort of tore it up. Now Barcelona probably want to get him off the books. He's probably on some decent wages, if I'm honest. Okay. If Depay came in, is there a possibility then we lose another attacking option? Is Lucas Moura one that gets sacrificed? Because I can't see Spurs taking 7 attackers into next season into 3 positions. Now, don't get me wrong. I wish we had all the attackers in the world so we can never have any issues, but we've got to think not only for homegrown and Champions League, but you also got to think about squad morales and things like that. I don't know. Steven Bergwijn going, is he the replacement Steven Bergwijn? Do we still got to get Anthony Gordon? You'd probably then find Moura and Bergwijn are probably going to let go. Unless, for some reason, one of our wingers can play a wing-back position. Which, really quickly on that, if I see another story about Dejan Kulusevski playing right wing-back, I'm going to lose my mind. He's a left-footed winger who plays on the right-hand side. You don't really carry an inverted fullback into your season. Now, João Cancelo, yes, he is a brilliant player that has smashed it. But we've seen Kieran Trippier for England. You know, we've seen these sort of players that haven't really done it because that's not natural for them. It's not natural for Kulusevski to play further back on the same wing, but he has then, you'd find a right wing back would play with the right foot, you know, predominantly. He might cut in and play some left-footed passes or crosses or whatever, but it's, yeah, no, if I see that story again, I'm going to lose my mind. It's an absolute nonsense story. And everyone believes he should be doing that. I'm going to have to ask you a few questions because I don't know what you're doing, okay? But yeah, on Depay, it's the same thing. If Conte wants him, then I'll back it. It's the same thing, but yeah, I don't know. I personally, I don't see him as enough of an upgrade on a Bergwijn or a Mora for me to go, it's worth it. Now, if Barca are going to play, if it's a loan deal and Barca's going to pay all the wages, then yeah, I might have a look at it. But he's probably on a lot of money that we're going to have to take on at least half the wages. And I would assume he's probably on 200 odd K a week. So it's another 100K out a week, you know. So yeah, there you are. That's on Depay. Just looking at anything else. Last one really was actually another outgoing. Actually of a youngster that we bought years ago now. Jack Clarke. He was on loan at Sunderland last year. Had a pretty decent season, actually. You know, he did play very, very well. They obviously had a big season, Sunderland themselves. Yeah, it came out that Sunderland want to take him on now. Probably want to take him on a permanent basis. I think the rumoured figure was somewhere around about 8 million. So obviously, I think we bought him for a little bit more than that, but it wasn't much more than that. But Sheffield United have also made contact because they're interested in him. And apparently, according to Northern Echo, they also have made contact with Spurs about him. So it's not just, we're interested. They actually put some feelers out to Spurs to sort of see what the value is and where that might go. For me, I can't really see him breaking into the top team. You know, is he really going to be able to get in there and take minutes off Son or take minutes off of Dejan Kulusevski? Personally, no, I don't see it. I think there's a real talent there, but I don't see how he's going to ever take us from where we are now to where we want to go. And what we want to do is we want to fight Liverpool and we want to fight Man City. Don't want to fight Man United; they're below us. We want to fight the two at the top and Chelsea. Don't believe he's going to take us there. But if we get sort of 8 million, it's add that to the coffers. If Bergwijn's 25, Jack Clarke's 8, that's 33 million we've already added in. That's nearly Basuma paid off if we wanted to think of it like that. No, I don't. I want to think of that could be money to go to Pau Torres. That could be money going to sort the Jed Spence situation. Just really quickly, Jed Spence. I would assume that's done this week. Okay, this thing has dragged on, and it is. It's just in my head in now. Do we want him or do we not want him? We're probably fighting over only a few million. Just get it done. Conte wants him. Get him in before the tour. Let's get him out to Korea with us. Don't get to Korea, then bring him out. Get him in club for at least a day or two so he gets to meet people, he gets to settle in, or start settling in, get him then out to Korea so then he gets that time with the squad to really get to know people and develop, okay? So, same obviously source as well, Standard Sport, Mr. Dan himself again. Jed Spence should join Spurs from Middlesbrough this week with the club's still negotiating fee of around 20 million. It's never been... I mean, look, I can't see it being much more than 20 million, okay? Doesn't help when your manager at Middlesbrough talks about he's not signing a striker in the Championship for 20, 25 million. But with your right wing back, you want more than 20 million. CC, I don't see it's like that. I think it is 20 million, and I think Spurs are happy to pay 20 million, but they're probably going, here's 10, and here's 10 million add-ons to really make it string out. I think they're probably more so like, we want 15 million with 5 million add-ons, or as close to 20 as possible. Yeah, get it done. I've seen the amount of comments saying, how bored we are of this deal. Just get it done. It makes so much sense when you think about it with homegrown, with Champions League squads being such an issue. If you add in a Lenglet, that's another player added. We have to get rid of 6 non-English players to fit the squad. Bergwijn being one. Okay, great. Let's think Reguilon and Emerson, let's say they were another 2. That's 3. You're only on 3 more to go. Brian Hill probably would be loaned out. Lo Celso and Ndombele. There's your 6, right? But what if you go and buy a Pau Torres on top? What if you go and get a Memphis Depay? That's another 2. So you see, and Wink's going, that's not helping the situation. So you see how it works. It's ironic that Joe Rodon doesn't fall into that category, and neither does a Ben Davies or a Matt Doherty, so it makes it a bit more technical. But, if Tanganga was loaned out, that doesn't help the situation. So as much as, we could sit there and say, oh, there's better options around, though. There probably is. Hakimi is a better option. But Hakimi's probably going to cost about 5 times that, and he doesn't help our homegrown situation. Now, would I prefer Hakimi? Yes, of course. I don't think a Spurs fan would say they would prefer Jed Spence. It's just the issue of fitting quotas. And that's what it's getting down to now with Spurs. We've done so much business. Fraser Forster will help that, by the way, with homegrown. So it's another thing to tick off the list. And I think that's a very common trend, that a backup or a third-string keeper is English. Man City have got that with Scott Carson. Scott Carson doesn't ever play. He's there for that quota. That's what we're going to be doing, okay? So, yeah, that one, let's just say, get done. And Dan Kilpatrick, obviously, he did make an article, so do have a look at it, okay? It's on his Twitter page. Go have a look at it. It says, several Spurs players, including Basuma and Perisic, are at Hotspur Way this morning for the start of pre-season. Conte is determined to have further signings in place before Saturday's flight to Korea. We're Monday afternoon. We're talking about Saturday, okay? Let's call Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Let's call it 4 days. Signings. There's a plural there. And I would say that's 2. And I'd say it's Lenglet and that's Spence. That's my opinion, okay? We might get one that joins us out there, but it's easier if you get one to join you out there than 2 or 3, okay? I can't see anyone else being that. But yeah, the guys are back at training today. It's nice to see. It's nice to see, some of these players come in that we've brought in that are going to be working with the guys. I think Conte's probably going to kill them in terms of fitness. So we're going to be a very, very active and fit team this year. He gets a pre-season to work with the team. He gets a full season to go out the league, go out the competitions, all that stuff. I think we're better next year, personally. I mean, United are beefing with Brentford over Eriksen. Now, I would have wanted Eriksen personally, but Conte and Paratici probably didn't think he was up to the level that we needed. No top 4 team went after Eriksen. Not even Arsenal went after Eriksen. Now, would he have joined Arsenal? I don't know. But let's play this ball. The top 5 teams in England didn't go after Eriksen. Any European giant or powerhouse didn't go after Eriksen. Man United are battling a bottom half of the table team for Eriksen. I'm not going to say any more. You know what I'm thinking. Them losing Ronaldo as well. Yeah, I'm not really too worried about Man United, if I'm honest, this season. Arsenal are having a much better summer than them at the moment. Chelsea, let's be honest, they haven't signed anyone. They're getting rid of loads of players that maybe they don't think are up to the standard anymore. They're on pretty decent wages. Marcus Alonso, he's probably on quite a decent wage. You've got Chilwell there. You probably have Emerson Palmieri backing him up. Or you probably have, knowing Chelsea, have got about 1 million youngsters. There's probably some unbelievable player coming through. You think Rudiger's gone. You think Christensen's gone. You think they're probably going to get rid of one of their centre-mid options. Sal is gone. Obviously, he's not at Chelsea anymore. Lukaku's gone. Their wage bill just dropped dramatically, okay? The De Ligt rumours have picked up heavily. Matthias De Ligt. It's one player that I'd love at Spurs, honestly. Unbelievable player. And if you had a Pau Torres, De Ligt, Romero centre-half partnership, I'm going to say no more. That's unbelievable. But they're talking to De Ligt, they're talking to Koulibaly, okay? They're talking to Rafinha. They're talking to loads of players now. Their window's now starting to pick up. I think the new owner, who's obviously their chief negotiator, is finally getting to grips a little bit with the situation, what they should be doing, what they shouldn't be doing. They just picked up a lot of steam. Now, honestly, the story with they nearly got Richarlison at the end, they made bids and things like that. We obviously completed that. It shows they're active and they show they've got fingers in a lot of pies. So I don't see Chelsea dropping off this season, but I do see us battling Chelsea a lot more. I do think it's Man City, Liverpool. I think Liverpool might drop a little bit because Sadio Mane, in my opinion, was their best player last season. He was better than Salah. From that season onwards, something went wrong with Salah. It was a mental thing, I don't know. But Sadio Mane was their main guy. And Luis Diaz obviously came in and obviously played really well as well. I do see it a bit of a drop-off. I wouldn't say it's a massive one. I'm not going to say Liverpool are going to drop 10 points now. No, I still think they'll battle City towards at least the end of the season with a few games to go at least. But City adding in Haaland and Phillips. They've sold a lot of players. They basically, you're going to draw blank on terms of outgoings and ingoings in terms of money. So they're having a great summer. Obviously, I know they're probably going to add more, if I'm honest. Liverpool having a really good summer. They'll probably get rid of a couple of players. Chelsea will always have a good summer. Unless they've got transfer embargoes like they did one time. But they'll always have a good summer. We're in a good summer. Arsenal are starting to have a decent summer. They're going to be more coming into Arsenal. I can't see them finishing on just Vieira and Gabby Jesus. There'll be more to go in there, for sure. Absolutely. United, for me, they've got so many holes to fill. And when there are only 2 players last season that came out of that season with any credibility, one, David De Gea, gets so much stick and he's probably going to end up leaving potentially next summer. But the main guy, the guy who scored them goals, the guy who scored goals against Spurs, last season, ironically, the first game, Nuno got sacked for it. Ronaldo, he's off, most likely. For me, United still are going to be years away. They're probably going to fall a little bit, if I'm honest, towards the Newcastle lot. And United will come back. They're a massive club. But if you're beefing with Brentford, it shows how far the mighty have fallen, okay? So that's in the video, guys. Let me know what you think. Let me know about the homegrown situation, who you'd want to add in. I know I talked about Maddison and Spence. Obviously, Maddison in another video, but Spence today. Let me know how you would fix the situation. And let me know how many more signings you think we need. And let me know who you think they should be, okay? I think we need at least another 3, maybe even 4, okay? But let me know what you think. Drop a like and subscribe, and I'll see you all later. Take care.